British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning. My name is Jacob Fraser, and this is your 11:30 news update. Police in Langley say one person has died in an early morning crash between a car and motorcycle on Highway 1. Mounties say the vehicles collided heading east shortly before 4:20 a.m. The eastbound lanes of the highway remain closed between 232nd and 264th Street. RCMP is asking anyone who witnessed the crash or who may have dash camera footage from the area to call them. British Columbia Health Minister Adrian Dix says minimum nurse-to-patient ratios are set to expand this fall. Dix says these ratios are meant to improve and strengthen the healthcare system. He says the nurse-to-patient ratios have been determined for more hospital settings, including emergency departments, maternity units, and operating rooms. This is part of a 4-year government plan announced last March with a target of hiring more than 8,000 nurses. Pablo Rodriguez has resigned as Canada's transport minister and the government's Quebec lieutenant so he can run for leadership of the provincial Liberal Party.
A senior government official told the Canadian press that a new transport minister will be installed at a ceremony at Rideau Hall this afternoon. Rodriguez says he's also leaving Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal caucus so that he can set his own priorities and focus on Quebec. He plans to sit as an independent member of parliament until next January, saying that will avoid an expensive by-election so close to the next federal election. Rodriguez says he doesn't want an election right away and will vote against the non-confidence motion the Conservatives plan to introduce next week. His resignation comes the same week as the Liberals lost a key by-election in a stronghold riding in Montreal to the Bloc Québécois. Nujoud Almalis, the Canadian Press, Ottawa.
New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs has called an election for October 21st. The 33-day campaign is expected to focus on pocketbook issues and the government's approach to gender identity policies.
The 70-year-old Higgs is seeking a third term in office. Recently, his Progressive Conservatives promised to lower the provincial HST by 2 percentage points to 13% if re-elected. His main rivals, Liberal leader Susan Holt and Green Party leader David Kuhn, are focusing on economic and social issues. Holt has promised to impose a rent cap, while Kuhn has said a Green government would create an electricity support program. At dissolution, the Conservatives held 25 seats in the 49-seat legislature. The Liberals held 16, the Greens had 3, and there was 1 independent and 4 vacancies. Keith Doucette, the Canadian Press.
A spokesperson says 2 correctional officers were stabbed by inmates and 3 others were injured in a Massachusetts maximum security prison.
All 5 officers were taken from the prison in Lancaster to hospitals. No details on their injuries. The spokesman for the Massachusetts Department of Corrections said afterwards the facility is secure and an investigation will learn the facts and the circumstances. The Massachusetts Correction Officers Federated Union posted online, and we're quoting, "How much more do our members have to endure before you decide to keep them safe? The inmates are literally running the asylum. Do your jobs," the Post said. I'm Rita Foley.
A massive flood wave across Central Europe is threatening new areas and raising concerns among residents and officials.
Heavy rains have also caused flooding and the evacuation of some 1,000 residents in northern Italy's region of Emilia-Romagna. The death toll is rising in Central Europe as receding waters reveal the extent of the destruction. The overall death toll in the affected countries, which include Czech Republic, Poland and Romania, as well as Austria, has reached at least 24, as European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen expects to visit the region. I'm Karen Shamas.
A new study in the UK is advocating for the size of pint glasses to shrink due to health concerns.
Academics at Cambridge University want the government to force pubs here to reduce the size of pint glasses by 1/3 in the name of health concerns. The country's health secretary says,
"I'm really not interested in being the fun police or telling people how to live their lives."
But Will Streeting appears to be sipping out of both sides of his mouth.
We do have to take this issue of chronic disease seriously and the impact it's having on our lives.
Typical angry reaction from pubgoers here who say, "Hold my beer." Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.